It took about, I'd say 48 hours, maybe not even, 46 hours after the Canes were eliminated from the Eastern Conference Finals for the offseason wheels to start cranking. And what I mean by that is trade scenarios being thrown out there, free agent targets being established. It took not that long. And I think that is maybe the best way to show that this year's Canes team was in a retool. Right? When you're all in, you mourn the season. Right? When a team is all in to go win, the fans, they mourn the elimination. Go ask what Dallas is doing right now. They don't want to entertain the possibility of what their offseason might look like.
Oh yeah, they got like 8 forwards signed for next year with $5 million in cap space.
They're mourning their season. The Canes, their fans immediately went to like, all right, we made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, but look, we can do this and we can do that, and we can send this player here and we can send this pick here, and they're going to give us this, and this team needs to get under the cap, so they're going to send us this great player, and woo, look at this, we have an all-star team. That shows that it was a retooling year. But I've already seen a switch right after the season, right? Because we're only like a week out. I mean, if that feels like the wound is fresh. Right after it, everybody was well aware. Top end goal scorer. We need a sniper. We need a 45 goal scorer. We need a goal scorer. And then for some reason the correction went to, well, actually we need a guy that fits in with the Canes. You need somebody that's going to be a hard-nosed two-way player. You need somebody that's going to fit in with what Rod asks you to do and wants to do. You got to be able to kill penalties and then we get to the point where you're like, actually, just 2 or 3 well-placed vets. And I'm going like, no. You were right the first time. And it is okay to say the Canes need a top-end goal scorer. And it's okay to say if you're going to employ Aho and Jarvis and Stahl, who were all, top 11 in the Selke? Selke, the trophy that goes to the most defensive or the best defensive forward. If you're going to employ all of those guys, you have room on the roster for one, for lack of a better term, ball hog. Right? Yeah, puck hog, I guess. Ice hog might be the better way. Well,
Stormy's an ice hog.
That's true. Well, you got, two ice hogs. You can have Stormy and you can have one more who's just the black hole. When you pass it to him, he's shooting, and he's going to shoot a high percentage. So we had the exit interviews with Rod Brindamore and Eric Tulsky earlier this week, and they both talked about that top-end scorer ideal that was being brought up. Here's Rod Brindamore on the team trying to go for a top-end scorer.
Everybody would love to have them, and, of course. And I think you look at, you mentioned all those names. We've been going out. If they're out there, Eric's trying to get them. And I think everybody appreciates that. I think the room does. Having said that, if it doesn't, we feel really good about our group. So what he mentioned earlier, if there's a better option out there to make us better, he's trying to get it. So that's what that tells me.
Everybody wants the score. They spoke in generalities. They spoke vaguely, as they should. You don't want to tip your hand too much. Eric Tulsky was asked about a similar deal about going out and trying to get and keep top-end players.
I prickle a little at the idea that it was a suggestion we needed something like, until we have all the best players in the league, we're going to keep trying to add. And it doesn't matter how many goal scorers we have. If there's a premium goal scorer out there who we can get, we're going to try and bring him in. I don't think Tampa or Dallas was looking at their team saying we really need a goal scorer. It's just you've got great players who you can bring in, you do it. And we're going to keep taking those swings every time we can.
They were vague. They were loose with it. I don't think it's a coincidence. I don't think it's a coincidence that the year the Canes won their cup, Eric Stahl had 45 goals and 100 points. Right? Most goals in a single season for a player since they came to Carolina happens to also be the year where they won the whole darn thing. I don't think that's a coincidence, and I don't think it's bad to say, and I don't think it's bad to desire. And by the way, I think Eric Tulsky and Rod Brindamore know it. That's why Jake Gensel and Mikko Rantanen were traded for in each of the last 2 years. They didn't make deadline, like, oh, we go after all the best players. Well, you didn't make deadline deals for lockdown defensemen because you knew you didn't need that. You had them. You didn't make a deadline deal for even a goalie or a grinding center or any of these things that might others have wanted. You made it for the guys that were known playoff scorers. They need goal scorers. And if you get one that can put up 400 shots and score 446 goals and go break Stahl's record, that might be, and I don't pretend to be an expert enough to say it probably will be, but it might be the thing that puts you over the top to go win a cup. You've been knocking on the door for a while now.